Yo, this is Neville Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it? Let's get it.
Hey, I told you guys! Don't go Bears! Just one game! Woo! All I've heard for the last 5 weeks is we want Dallas! So all you haters, you come down for me! You fuel the fire! Because I want it! Are you gonna say, hey, you dig it?
What is up? Welcome to another edition of Tag Nation. Your boy Mike Tag with Jimmy D. This is what we call a very happy Monday, Victory Monday. We both caught off a victory, so we got a lot to talk about. Before we get rolling, make sure you guys, like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. Spread the word. Hit that like button if you're just checking in now, man. It don't cost you nothing. It helps spread the love and spread the word about what's happening. Now, what's happening is the Cowboys' most dominating victory I've ever seen, and we're going to get into it. But of course, I got to welcome Jimmy D. See how that Sunday was like for you. I didn't get a chance to watch your game, but I saw the highlights here and there. So it looks like you guys pulled one out.
Well, I'll start like this. The second best thing that happened to me this weekend was that Facebook officially gave me my badge for the Tag Nation Facebook site. So I'm a big shot member of the Tag Nation Facebook site. You guys watch out for my badge on there. Secondly, I got a text message at about 1:05 from a friend of ours who's a Bears fan, running his mouth. And you know what? For a minute there, I was a little bit nervous. Our offense wanted to give it away. Our special teams wanted to give it away. Then we took control. We had Justin Fields running for his life, sacked him 4 times. And now our friend, the Bears fan, is running for his life. He says, please don't say my name. I want you to be anonymous tonight, please. So you know what? I got news for you. Quit running, quit hiding, call the show. I'm telling you, whatever your name is, call the show tonight.
Coward. He's a coward. He's the same guy who was at the game. You guys remember when I was at the Bears game, he was running, flapping his gums the whole time, and then he was he's sleeping by the third quarter, and I got the pictures to prove it. If you don't watch it, I'll be posting them on here. We're smoking him. He went and took a nap. But more importantly, Jimmy, I don't know if you watched the game or not. You're a busy man. If you get a chance to see the Cowboys play, but I'm just gonna say, as a Cowboys fan, and I've been a lifelong fan. I was gonna throw this up real quick. Hopefully, someone won't be upset, but some people want to know where I got to be a Cowboys fan, how long I've been a fan. So I found this old picture. All you guys, make sure you watch the comments because this is my mama. But found the old picture of my mom decked out in the Cowboys shirt. So I don't even know if I was born yet. She'd have to verify it, but she's always listening to the show, so I appreciate it. She always lets me know things we got to work on, if we're bringing the hype, if I'm being a little too low, what I miss. But so that's how far it goes back. So that's how far back it goes. And I'm going to say this, and you may agree, you may not. That was the most dominating performance I've ever seen from the Dallas Cowboys since Super Bowl 27 when we embarrassed the Buffalo Bills. And I'm not talking about beating the drum, beating up on the Bears or something like that. I'm talking about going in to an 8-1 team. They won 7 in a row, coming off that loss that we had, and you go in and absolutely annihilate the team. Annihilate them so bad that they changed the channel in the middle of the third quarter. The highest rated team, CBS begged for this game because you notice it was 2 NFC teams. Traditionally, that is not what they would, that's a Fox game. But CBS was begging for this game because they needed it for ratings. And we beat them so bad that they went ahead and they moved on to another game. And that's what I'm talking about. That felt so good. It was so needed but more importantly, it's what they do next in this game Thursday is going to be critical.
Well, and you know what? It is Victory Monday for you guys, and I'll say a couple things. First of all, I'm not taking anything away, so don't take this wrong. Last week I said could be a letdown game for Minnesota.
Yeah.
But you guys kicked their asses in every way, shape, or form. But here's what I did watch. Of course, I got to do homework for Tag Nation. So I was watching the game, and there was a point in time mid first quarter, if I remember right. It was 3-0. I think you guys were winning. They were going down the field with a mix of run and pass. You guys down, I think they got down to the 5-yard line, and you guys held them to a field goal. And that was huge because they were rolling downfield. You guys stopped them. Then it was all you from there.
And the crazy thing is wait, let me drink my Kool-Aid from a Cowboys cup. That's a paid promotion. But the thing is the Cowboys have not allowed a touchdown in the I think it was in the first quarter all season. Pretty amazing.
It's huge.
And the defense had to answer. And I'm telling you, when I look at Parsons and Tank, and you listen to these conversations, and obviously Diggs after that game against Green Bay, I told people, I said, this could be the blessing in disguise. This could be one of those games where you look back on and you circle that game about, we got embarrassed. I mean, there's no doubt they were embarrassed. We get embarrassed in that game. And how do you respond? And they respond, and this is something that they could build on. Now, they go lay an egg on Thursday. It's just you as being unbiased, just casual, an NFL fan, but not a Cowboys fan. You could see the hot and cold of Cowboys Nation. Right now, we're back a Super Bowl. I told you this and that. If they go to lose another game, then it's this team stinks. We won't make the playoffs. It's never. It's one or the other. It's never even keel. It's always that way with Cowboys fans, and I get it. We're all starving for a championship. It's been so long, and you get these teams, and I'm just telling you, the NFC, really the NFL is wide open, but the NFC is wide open.
It is. And you know what? I mean, let's first of all, we won't deviate yet from the Cowboys, but talking about the NFC East, look at you have Daniel Jones scores on the first possession, runs it in, everything's great. Then it was downhill from there for them. Mm-hmm. The Redskins or whatever their name is, they won again. Then you guys just rolled Minnesota yesterday, and we'll get to the Eagles in a few minutes.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely want to. We're going to touch on that one. That was
wide open. Yeah. So
do us a favor.
No, but I tell you what, though, another observation from the game: Prescott, he has to protect his body better.
I tweeted it out. I said, my man, I love him, but he's got to learn to slide. There's a time and a place that you just let it all out. That's like playoff time, a critical fourth quarter drive, going into the end zone, things like that. But you're talking first quarter, you got the first down, slide. You get another one, you got the first down, slide. And most people understood. I had one person tweet that, he's got to be, Lamar Jackson, and they don't say he ain't Lamar Jackson.
Right.
He's not Justin Fields. He's not paid for that. That's not his area of expertise. He's a passer. He runs when he needs to. But if you've seen him run, he's not exactly the fastest guy in the group. He's a big man. He's running with a purpose to hurt somebody.
Well, but look what happened with Justin Fields yesterday. He might not play next weekend because one too many times he took some shots, and now he's got a shoulder problem and his leg was hurting him.
Yeah, no. So
gotta be careful.
You got it. And that was one thing I noted. I mean, the other thing was just another solid. I mean, this was a kind of game that you look at and you say, okay, what's the formula for success? And Dallas dominated the line of scrimmage on offense and defense.
Yeah.
And that was, at halftime, I tweeted that out. That was the key. I knew the game was over. We absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides, running the ball. I mean, Pollard was running good. Zeke, coming off an injury, was running hard. I mean, it was going. And then you had Dak with high percentage passes. What was he, like 25 for 28?
Yeah.
I don't think he had an incomplete pass, for a while. CD with a nice, some clutch catches. Gallup, who's been injured, coming off that ACL. He's finally, you see him kind of going. You're building a little momentum there. But, the defense answered the call. And if you look at it, you could say, well, look at the yards per carry. Dalvin Cook, his yards per carry were pretty good, but they held him when they needed to and when it was critical. And then what did they do? jump ahead. The strength is pass rush. What do you want to do? You jump ahead, force them to be a passing team. And old Kirk Cousins, man, he was bad for him. I was getting ready to call the dogs off, man. He killed this guy.
Well, it was a strange sequence of events toward the end of the first half where CeeDee Lamb had a nice, catch right on the sideline, toes.
Yeah.
Then you guys kick a field goal. Then they're replaying that play again. That was strange.
Now let's get that scenario right. And let me, guys in the chat, listening live, you guys can comment on this kind of stuff too, especially with the Cowboys. Is they kicked a 60-yarder, and or they call a timeout. So they get the play, they call a timeout, then kick the 60-yarder, and then they say, "Oh, we've stopped to review it." Well, we call a timeout. I mean, how much time do you guys need? Right. And then they do that, and then they go ahead and they, we have to kick another 60-yarder, which, I mean, I give Maher credit. I mean, the kicking game, it was an Achilles heel for us last year. We bring Maher back, and there was a lot of questioning the front office of what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? And, it paid off. It paid off again. That's what we got here. That was what a game. That's what it looks like. The offense and defense click together. No, it was, Steven's right. I mean, that was the statement game. That's what we all talked about. These guys had to come out with a purpose, and they did. And, the kick, that was insane. I mean,
it was crazy.
It was insane. But it was such a good feeling as a Cowboys fan, that game, because it's like I was telling someone, you see what they're capable of. Now, you could say what you want. I think it's a game of matchups, right? And I'm not going to sit here, and say Minnesota's the greatest team, 8-1, this and that. But they're a formidable team. But they match up well against us. For whatever reason, we always beat them, and it's always in Minnesota. I think we have a number, very similar to Green Bay. But if we won 27-24, I thought we were going to win a close one, 27-24, 24-17, something like that. But they absolutely embarrassed and annihilated them the whole game from start to finish. That's the kind of thing that makes this one feel a little bit different.
And you know what? I'm not going to ask Cowboys Nation, where's Steve Smith, middle initial A, this week? Where's he running his mouth? Where did he disappear to?
Quiet as a mouse. Quiet as a mouse.
Coward.
Okay. Yes. No, he did. And, and so then again, some of the comments were going back to the Green Bay game and should they have kicked it. The conditions obviously were a lot different. I never, not to go backwards, but I never had an issue with McCarthy's decision to go for it. It was more the play calling on third down when you're running at 9 yards a clip, 15 yards, 5 yards. You needed 4 yards. I would have thought we'd be able to run it, So, but and again, my man Doug, shut down Diggs, shut down Jefferson. He had one catch against Diggs for 7 yards. I mean, he was a non-factor, and that's the thing. Diggs never gets the credit that he deserves, and I've seen it time and time again. We watched the Philly game against Washington, and help me with his name, the receiver
from.
Help me, guys, help me. But the receiver for Washington, he always, he had a huge game against Slay. Whenever Diggs goes up against him, he gets nothing. He always shuts him out. And he just doesn't get the credit, and he should be getting the credit that he deserves as a cornerback. That I always will like to worry about like Art Monk.
Art Monk.
What about Charlie Brown? I used to love the Redskins, old Redskins players. The receiving core, the Ricky Sanders and all them. But he needs to get some of the credit he deserves as being what you would call a number one corner, shutdown corner, whatever you want. Because they always McLaren, that's it. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name. But that's what it was even more just beautiful to see is Diggs again answering the call whenever he's going up against these guys.
And watching the Cowboys, obviously, more so than the average non-Cowboys fan does. You guys yesterday was the first game of the season where it was a perfect mix of defense, offense. I mean, once that play happened where you held them in the mid first quarter, you stopped them on the 6-yard line. Yeah. It was just a perfect mix moving forward.
It was steamrolling, and it was steamrolling, and it was such a good feeling. But it's a short week. We don't have time to drink the Kool-Aid in my cup. I got more comments on this cup when I did my when I did my post game video, and it was kind of I used it as a prop because there's and I love the haters. Believe me, I get my share of it. When we lose, they all come out of the woodworks, and so people always say, "Man, why you're the reason why I hate that Cowboy fans are hated." When you get all the crap that we get as Cowboy fans, and especially when I do my videos, I accept the hate, but man, when things happen good, your boy's gonna be coming back. So someone kept calling me the Kool-Aid guy or something like that. So that's why I brought the cup out.
Absolutely. You embrace it. You let the haters hate, and that's all good, man.
Absolutely.
Serps, you're living rent free in their head. It's all good, bro.
And that's the thing. That's what I told one guy. I said, man, he said, who cares? Because we won. I said, well, obviously you cared because you took the time to comment on here. You know what I'm saying? Obviously you cared, and you're jealous of this team because we are just getting started. Like I said, we are just getting started, man. We got the Giants. Then we got a little mini bye right after Thanksgiving. Then I think we got the Texans or whoever we got. Then your boy is going to be there Sunday night against the Colts. Then I got a little game in between, and then I drive up to Jacksonville, watch that, and then Christmas Eve get to go watch the Cowboys take on the Eagles. And it's like I've said a million times, these eyes, I've never seen the Cowboys lose to the Eagles.
So, do you want to talk about next week's game, or are we going to stick to this week for now?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about this week. We'll talk this week. Some of the things I wanted to get your opinion on, and I took some notes. So we'll kind of go around the NFL.
Yeah.
So we're always going to be heavy on the NFC, not necessarily the NFC East, but the NFC. So let's talk about the team that we're playing. So the Cowboys are going to be playing Giants on a short week. We handled them with our backup. They go in, playing the Lions, and the Lions put it on them.
Yeah, they did.
They won 3 in a row. The Lions are playing well. So my question would be, and you guys can kind of chat in here and let me know: are the Giants, are they as good as their record, or are they just they're going to start coming back down to reality? Because now they got to play the Cowboys, they got to play the Eagles twice. I think they still got Washington left. They got some tough games ahead.
Well, like I said, they had a great first drive yesterday. Then they missed the extra point and then just got their asses handed to them after that. So the question is, how do they react this week? They've been playing great, but did they hit their peak? Or like you said, they're not real? They just been moseying along with their record. You don't know. They'll find out this week.
Yeah, I think my opinion of them, they're a scrappy team, overachievers. I think, obviously we beat them with our backup. We're actually more healthy. Obviously with Dak, we're a lot more healthy, but even the other pieces that we didn't have when we played them last time. So I think this is going to be one of those games where we're going to beat them pretty handily. And I think the Giants are just going to kind of fall to the wayside. They could get passed up by Washington because I'll start talking. That was the next game I was going to go to is, Washington. They beat the Texans. Texans stink. But they're getting on a roll and they're winning a few games, beating Philly, the frauds in Philadelphia, beating them. They could be a team that could sneak into that playoff hunt. They're kind of creeping up there now. So, what's your thoughts on Washington as being a formidable team as the season goes on?
But here's the thing: we're getting log jammed as far as the wild card in the NFC. They're obviously not going to pass the Cowboys or the Eagles, in my opinion, and probably not the Giants. So, with all those teams ahead of them, I don't think there's any way they're going to make the wild card unless the odds are completely in their favor with other teams losing. They're far from controlling their own destiny, but man, they are looking good.
No, they're looking good. And now, it's 7 teams in the playoffs. They're really only like a game out. You can realistically make the argument in the NFC East, you can have all 4 teams make the playoffs.
Could be
kind of crazy, especially when they make fun of it all the time.
We're going to have one team coming out of our division. It's going to be the division winner.
No, and that's where we said, and we're going to get to the Bucks. They were on a bye, but they're another team. Is for the Cowboys. Brady's had our number. I think Green Bay. Green Bay played on Thursday, so we'll just say, hey, Green Bay lost to Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think we all knew that was going to happen. And I think any Cowboy fan kind of the Green Bay game worried you just because of the, just the history of Aaron Rodgers and the Cowboys. It just never felt right. Never felt comfortable in that game. But Green Bay, I think, is done. Right. So that they lost.
They're gone. Yeah.
You're going to get Minnesota out of that division. They've all but clinched it. They'd have to have some colossal collapse to lose that. So you're going to get Minnesota. The West, I think the Niners are going to overtake Seattle. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, I've been kind of a fan of Seattle. I don't know how long they're going to be able to take it. I don't know how long Geno Smith's going to have this. I say not resurgence because he never really made it. And this is his insurgence. So I don't know but you have two teams and in that division, that's your thing. So
that's the wild card right there. Is Seattle going to be good enough to get a bypass to stay ahead of Washington? Because they're not that far off. I forgot what the records are. I guess I should look, but I think it's only like a game or game and a half, maybe two or whatever it is. But they're going to be it's going to come down to wire. Now Washington has to play Dallas, but Washington plays Dallas at the end of the year. Depending on how all that shakes out, you don't know you don't know how is it going to mean something to Dallas. I'm hoping it means something. I'm never a fan of resting all your guys going into the playoffs. So, hopefully it means something, clinching the division or something like that. But I'd say is for Dallas, not going back on them. I saw Doug put out there with second in the league with point differential. Obviously that game played a big part of it. So. But Dallas has an opportunity. Don't want to see him in the playoffs. No, I don't want to see him in the playoffs. So we could beat anyone. I think you're talking about Brady, and definitely if you're talking about Brady, I don't want to see him in the playoffs. But I think the Cowboys have the opportunity now that what they did to Minnesota. They got Philly. Philly loses once. I think, like Steven said, Philly loses. Stumbles along the way. The game, Christmas Eve is going to have a lot of implications on it. And I think I think Philly, you could kind of see what's going on. I think they've got a few more losses, under their belt.
Absolutely.
And hey, Dallas could, they could stumble somewhere along the way as well. But I think the Philly Dallas game at the end of the day is going to be for the division when it's all said and done. So I think we'll handle that. But they've got an opportunity to be number one seed because if you beat Philly, you split there, but Philly lost to Washington. I don't think Dallas is going to lose a division game. So you're going to get the edge there. You've got Minnesota we beat head to head. So I think there's some good opportunity for Dallas to get a number one seed out of this deal.
Well, first of all, let's talk about Philadelphia. So they lost last week and they barely won on the road in Indy yesterday. They were losing the whole game up until a minute left.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Again, we talked about them and I think they hit their peak, man. And I think people have figured them out. And I was never that high on Jalen Hurts anyway. And secondly, I want to talk about, you guys talking about the Buccaneers. 3 weeks ago, Tom Brady was done. He was finished. He was through and all this stuff. Now all of a sudden, he's back again and they're going to win. We're taking the NFC South. I don't want to hear nothing about Tom Brady. We got them again. We got the Saints again. We got Carolina again. We got the Washington coming up next week. So maybe we do you guys a favor, even though I don't think you'll need the favor. Hopefully we beat up on Washington a week from yesterday.
No, now, absolutely. I think the Buccaneers will make. Now, again, I gotta keep it 100. I don't think the Falcons are going to be able to hold off Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is going to win the division. You're going to get one team out of there.
Shut up.
And I know, I'm sorry. I think Tampa Bay is going to be a benefactor of a bad division. And I always find it curious. I'm leaving this comment up because this means something. But I find that the media has really not said much about, that crappy division in the South where you've got all these teams that are under 500. But in Dallas, last season, we're 12-5, but our division stinks and we're frauds and So it's always funny how it plays out. But Doug, we're actually going to touch on this because if you listen to the show, if you're a loyal listener to Tag Nation, I brought this up to Uncle Cheech when he picked, the Colts or when he picked Philly a couple of weeks ago playing Washington. Jimmy Johnson said he wasn't buying Philly. And the reason he wasn't buying Philly, because he said if you watch the way they play, teams make adjustments to them. And then in the second, you kind of see things slow down. And he said it's going to be more evident the second time you play him. And what happened? Washington played him the second time, totally different game. So I agree with Jimmy Johnson. I'm never going to question one of the greatest head coaches and evaluators of talent of all time. So I went ahead And I bought into that. I tried to talk to Uncle Cheech. I tried to talk him out of it. He told me I don't know nothing. He said, "Hey, are you the Vegas insider or am I?" I said, "Well, point taken. I'm not betting it." But I ended up proving to be right. And we'll talk a little bit about that with him just to kind of, get some of his thoughts on what he listens to, where does he get all his inside information and that kind of stuff. But yes, Philly sucks. What happened? Oh, yes. Victory Monday. We love that. And let's see. They're always downplay. Absolutely.
I can't control the comments. I want Claudio's comment. I can't control Claudio brought up a good point.
Oh, I have that written down. Kyle Pitts. He's on IR. I didn't see it. So is it season ending or is he on where it's 4 weeks and he comes back?
4 weeks. Okay. 4 weeks, but still, we're in the meat of what we need to win now, right? So who do we have? Michael Pruitt, Parker Hesse. I mean, that's a big loss for us. But hey, again, you need the next man up. We talk about it every week. I can't complain. It sucks. Yeah. And the crazy part is they haven't been targeting him nearly as much as they should anyway. But it was a route across the middle. It was a good tackle. Some people were saying that he was tackled low, but the man's a tall guy. So so it was a knee injury, MCL, 4 weeks.
Hopefully he'll be all right. Now I got a comment from Steve. I don't want to put it on because I want to make sure Uncle Cheech is here. Because whenever you got something to say to Uncle Cheech, we want to make sure you say it to his face. So Jimmy, we might start it just a hair early. We get Uncle Cheech in. Before we get started, you guys know the man, Uncle Cheech, the Vegas insider. He's residing down in South Florida somewhere, enjoying the beautiful weather. And he's got some games he's picking. And it was interesting. He sent these to me. He said, "This is what I'm looking at." And as something familiar, I know, Jimmy, this don't mean really a whole lot to you, but this is, always traditionally one of the biggest weekends in college football. It's rivalry week. And I didn't tell him to pick, I said, man, but he knows how important rivalry week is in college football. So he went ahead and these are the games that he's picking. So let's get Uncle Cheech. Let's see if he's around. Is he alive? What is Uncle Cheech doing? Moving around.
How you doing, guys?
Sure.
Uncle Cheech, how are you?
I'm good.
All right. Yeah. All right. You're here. Now, before we get started, it's just two things. First, it's more importantly, when we got loyal listeners questioning Uncle Cheech, they questioned you. They said the Jets would win. New England wins the game in a miraculous, punt return touchdown. He comes clean. We love it. He says, "I owe Uncle Cheech an apology for the New England game. I said the Jets would win."
Well, better to be lucky. That's what I always say. Hell of a play at the end of the game. Ran the ball back.
More importantly,
one more thing I got to say. My lock I had last week, which I ended up losing because they changed the fields on me.
Yes.
They moved the game from Buffalo to Detroit, and now I only lost that by 1 point.
Now we wonder if that should have an asterisk on it. You have something like that.
Yes, of course.
I agree. I think so.
I'm with Uncle Cheech on that. So the other thing we wanted to talk about was, you're Vegas insider. You got all these connections. Everything that's going on, and I wanted to play this earlier, but my man made a comment. This man right here, for all my Cowboy fans.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
I don't know if you can hear that, Uncle Cheech. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's a beautiful statement. Beautiful statement. Jimmy Johnson, and I tried to get you out of the Philly thing. They tried to get you to change the pick, and you didn't. And Jimmy, I don't know what you think about that.
You know what, Mike? I'll never show any disrespect to my Uncle Cheech. You know that.
Hey, the greatest coach the Hurricanes ever had. That's all I know.
So do you have people you listen to in your ear and they're telling you hear this kind of information?
Matter of fact, I listened to one guy, one of my most valued friends, for one of my picks tonight.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
really?
Let's get it. Let's without any further ado, let's get it started. What are we starting with for your picks of the week.
You want tonight's game, or should I start with my
That'll be
pick?
the bonus. That'll be the bonus. Let's
Okay.
here's what we do. Get the pro game out, and then let's really dig into that college football.
Okay, my pick tonight is going to be 49ers minus 8.5 over the Cardinals. Now, I spent a lot of time down in Mexico. I know a lot of senoritas down there. And they're big 49ers fans. It'd be like a home game.
Yeah, because they got them as a road.
game.
Yeah, it's like a home game for them, huh?
Yeah, you know? I'm going to take the 49ers. I'm going to give the 8.5.
Now they're playing. Now tell me if this is going to change it, because I know you gave me these picks this morning, and now Kyle Murray's not starting. They got Colt McCoy's going in there. I think the line got bumped up to about 10.5. You still think they'll cover that, no problem?
I think so.
Okay. All right.
Right now, when I picked them, they were 8.5.
No, they just announced the quarterback this afternoon. So if we got anyone making last minute bets,
McCoy, he's still playing.
Yeah, he's still playing. Yeah, he's still playing. So,
I remember when he was up picked.
All right. What's the next pro game?
Next pro game is going to be my lock of the week.
Lock of the week. Lock it up. What do we got?
Going to be Houston at Miami.
Oh, you love the Dolphins.
I'm going to give 12. Yeah. I'm giving 12 here. Remember what Vinny Smallstone said? What Vinny Smallstone say? Jimmy remembers.
Yep.
What Vinny Smallstone?
Dolphins
don't allow 15 points at home.
At home.
15 at home. Yep. They already got them. They could put 60 up on them. 60. Easily. They'll never shut down that offense. They could maybe put 100 on.
Now, the weather's a little bit different now. You know, you're down in South. I'm in Florida. It's not getting to that humidity starting to come down. That's going to make no difference.
No difference. Miami, they can't stop all. They can't stop all them weapons. No way. No way they can stop all them weapons.
Mark the tape, Jimmy. Mark the tape.
We got it.
So we got
32.
You take that
Miami fan. Picking these Miamis. We got someone asking, what do you think Miami's chances are for the Super Bowl?
I think they have a very good chance right now if everybody stays healthy. That's the key to any team.
Yeah. Stay
healthy. They got a good chance, very good chance.
Well, I'll be honest. I wouldn't mind an old school Dallas Cowboy Miami Dolphin rematch of the Super Bowl.
Well, that'd be fun.
That's old school. Yeah, Uncle Cheech is talking about taking it. Uncle Cheech is talking about taking it to the bank. I'm taking hefty bags full of cash to the bank every week, thanks to Uncle Cheech.
Hey, I'm not a big gambler, but I'm probably going to put a little bit on that myself.
Well, hey, your man Clarence won $200 off you last week. He wanted to make sure he showed some love to Uncle Cheech. So,
hey, good man.
Yes, absolutely. And so go ahead. What is your college? This is the biggest weekend in college football for anyone who's a college football fan. After Thanksgiving, this is what you look for: the rivalry games, big games all around. You did not hide. You didn't get scared. You wanted to attack these games. So break them down for me.
I picked the big games. I don't fiddle around with that other games with meaning.
That's right.
My first game going to be Michigan at Ohio State.
Ooh.
I'm going to take Ohio State minus 7.5. I think they'll kill Michigan.
Wow.
I think they'll probably double that. Easy. I think they'll kill Michigan.
Okay.
Michigan had their hands.
Was their quarterback hurt?
Had their hands full.
Was their quarterback hurt? Ohio State's quarterback, he's fine though, right?
I thought he was. I could play quarterback and still beat them.
Well, I hope so, because you know what? I think Michigan's frauds. Right? They dumped my Hurricanes with that crappy offensive coordinator, ruined our beautiful season.
Yeah, that's right. My next pick is going to be, this is tough, Florida at FSU.
Wow, that's a good rivalry game.
Florida, you don't know which Florida's showing up. Last week they didn't show up. The week before they did. However, Florida State's been pretty consistent all year round.
That pains me to say that.
I'm going to take Florida State minus 9.5.
Wow. Now that's
at home. They're at home. You're going to be here all day.
This is what you get when you're on Tag Nation. You get Uncle Cheech. He's picking these games. I wouldn't touch this game. Me personally, I'm not touching this game for the reason he said. Florida has been just, you don't know what you're going to get. Florida State has been they've been rising, right? They've been getting better, so it's going to be an interesting game. I wouldn't want to put my money on it, but if Uncle Cheech is giving me that kind of information, I got to think twice.
Well, first of all, I love it. You know why? Because based on that pick, our friend the Bears fan who's afraid, he's afraid to call, he's afraid to comment, he don't want to know nothing. He's going to be unhappy again next week, and that makes us all put a smile on our face.
All right.
This is going to be my upset.
Upset special, man. I gotta get
I was advised by one of my most valued friends not to pick this game, Big Mike. Big Mike. He has ties to one of these schools. I'm not going to say which, but Big Mike's advised me to stay away, but I couldn't. I'm going to take the Auburn Tigers plus 22 against Alabama. That's going to be my upset.
I don't know. I mean, I am not touching that. I think Alabama's going to steamroll them, but it's a rivalry game. And, that's a lot of points. I mean, the thing I'll say is Cadillac, being the interim coach, has been getting that team. They've been playing with a little fire, a little passion, but I don't know. That's a ball.
Well, that's why they play the game.
That's a ballsy pick. Now, more importantly, I want to. We got questions for Uncle Cheech. That's important. If you got questions, you need advice for Uncle Cheech. This is where you put it. So, we want to know. Someone wants to know when Uncle Cheech thinks the Broncos will score more than 16 points in a game. Will it happen this year, or that ain't gonna happen?
Next year.
Next year. Oh man, yeah. I didn't want to beat up on the Broncos too much. I got family that's Bronco fans, so I always want to be.
Well, he hit it on the head with that one. I'm sorry.
Oh, you
got the better record, Seattle.
Yes,
the Broncos
by far. Yeah,
I picked Seattle twice this year, and they covered for me both times.
Yeah, no.
You're the expert.
So, Uncle Cheech. Now I want to tell people, Uncle Cheech, he knows what he's talking about, but he made an amateur mistake one time, and me as a Cowboys fan, you guys know. Things go wrong. I can never let it happen again. And he made that fatal mistake of picking Dallas against Green Bay, and we lost. So I told him, no more picks. You're not allowed to pick any Cowboy game, because he had the Cowboys game, but I erased it from the memory. I wouldn't let him do it because I can't hold him responsible if something goes wrong.
Wait a minute. I thought Uncle Cheech was going to pick the Cowboys game for this Thanksgiving. That's what I thought was happening.
No, couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it, but let me tell you, you'll be a happy man.
I think so.
I'll give you that.
I hope so.
Real overrated team, Giants. You'll be a happy man.
No, absolutely. So I appreciate it, Uncle Cheech. Thank you as always. We will.
I'll tell you what they call me in Mexico.
What do they call you?
Senor Uncle Cheech.
Senor Uncle Cheech. You're gonna be good. Hopefully, you're making all these guys a lot of money. So, thank you for jumping on. We will see you now. More importantly, Uncle Cheech, and I need to put it out there. Uncle Cheech is now on Twitter, so he's learning how to do it. He's going to be giving advice. He's going to be giving some inside tips and information. So you see the Twitter handle on the bottom. He just got started. Make sure you follow Uncle Cheech. He will follow you back. He'll be able to give you, if you got any questions, you're embarrassed to come on the show. You don't know what to do. Your wife's going to leave you with all, you're losing all the money. How do I handle it? He can give advice on all subjects, not just games. He's a wise man. So.
And I want to show
bank on the Dolphins. I'll tell you that right now.
And I want to show my Uncle Cheech.
Big.
Yeah.
So anyway, you guys have a nice Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next Monday.
My Uncle Cheech, you're owed the utmost respect. Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you.
Thank
you. Oh, it's always a pleasure when you get Uncle Cheech on there. It's always good you get that, and we'll get some questions. So Claudio was asking the spread. I believe Dallas was 7.5 point favorites, maybe more 10. Maybe it was 10. I don't know.
Was it 10?
It was 7. 7.5. I could be.
I thought it'd been 6.5. But listen,
No,
I got to give. And again, I don't know much about college football. We've established that. But my thing is, I got to give a lot of credit. He was given a lot of points on those college games, man.
Yeah, well, you get some of the college games.
Good for him.
Is these rivalry games. I don't know if I'd go. Man, that's a lot of points to go. Now, I think Ohio State is probably going to handle Michigan pretty good. I know we got one of our guys that thinks so. He thinks Michigan's going to win outright. So, we mark the tape. Michigan wins outright. You got to come back here, and we'll have that conversation with Uncle Cheech. There was some comments. Now, my man Claudio, I was talking about Miami and Dallas in the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
I don't sweat them, number one. Slap them around. More importantly, if it don't happen, if Miami can't make it to face us because we're going to the Super Bowl, of course, that's the way I always got to feel, is we'll be down in Miami. We're coming to Miami next season, and I will be there. So hopefully you'll be there as well, because it's gonna be a fun time. I'm always happy when the Cowboys are playing in Florida. Gives me that opportunity to hit a few games. So
Claudio getting all aggressive with the comments on the Cowboys.
I know. I think he's a Miami fan. So, and they should be happy. Miami here, it opened at 8 down to 7.5. So it was 7.5.
AFC East is great. The AFC East is so entertaining. We talked about the Bills and Jets yesterday. Now they're not sure if what's his name, Zach's going to start for the Jets next week. Coach is keeping his mouth shut on that one.
Yeah. Now, I saw this. This is pretty important. Steven, he was asking about, he wants to get his Cowboys cave, wondering what site you prefer to get your autographs from. Now, I could tell you, not to do a paid advertisement, but if you see a lot of stuff in this cave I've gotten, through the years, my brother does a lot of sports memorabilia. He meets a lot of players, and, he's actually, if you watch some of my show, you'll see some former players that'll come on. And I mean, he does a very good job reaching out and kind of helping a brother out, literally. But he has a store. His stuff is primarily gonna be your 70s, your 80s, that kind of stuff. So his pricing's really good. Definitely, if you want, you can DM me, and I will, I'll get you guys linked up privately, and you can kind of let them know what you're looking for. The other thing is, too, when you're dealing with memorabilia, if you're not getting it signed in person, you got to really be careful. Be careful, with authentications, and, you want to make sure it's JSA or Beckett, or if you're not getting it from a reliable source. If you're getting it from someone who you know and you trust, then you can, what I tell people, if it's personal, some of those, you get it signed by yourself or through a friend, you're never going to sell it. A lot of my stuff isn't certified. More the higher end stuff is, just in case, if I kick the bucket, my kids can sell it or do whatever they want with it. But no, so definitely, I love memorabilia. You'll see I've done some YouTube things on my cave, going in depths of it and this and that. So I always say is it's a passion of mine. If you guys ever have questions, I could show you a picture I did of my buddy's a Colts fan, and I redid his cave. We posted on there on Facebook, and everyone thought it was my cave because I have a style that I do. I always tell people more is not always the best, right? Keep your lines tight. Try and keep your pictures organized. I'm not a big clutter and throw everything in there. I keep everything in a certain piece, in a place, and just kind of have sections of what you do. So definitely take your time with it. You can go to Michael's. You can get frames. I buy one, get one free. And then what you do is you take out that glass and you get UV glass, or you could get the acrylic that's UV protected. Swap those out. Like if you look at all the frames there, I think they're like $5 or $8. I get them at Michael's. I always wait till Christmas time. Then they have the 75% specials. And then you get to buy one, get one. You can end up getting stuff really cheap. The frames, I get the framing of the jerseys professionally done. There's a guy that you can send them to. He's very reasonable. It's a longer turnaround time, but jerseys take a while, but he does a good job. I'm trying to look at other things, the helmets and stuff like that. I think I showed if you didn't, I got a Tony Dorsett. He was my favorite player as a kid. I just finally finished a nice piece with a helmet with like 6 different inscriptions, all his career stats. So anyway, I didn't mean to go on a tangent about memorabilia, but that's what happens. You get me talking, I start doing, I start going crazy.
You're going to be an interior decorator here, man. And you know what? In fairness, the Colts cave came out great. Everybody's kind of laughing that he copied off you, which He kind of did, but it
Well,
does look really
did
good.
it. I was there at his house. I put it together. I designed it, so it's going to look like what my taste is. But it
No, it came out great.
yeah. Let me see. Helmet. If it's one helmet, everything you do with helmets, you want to make sure that you've got, if you're, hopefully it's the pen. If you've got like a black Sharpie helmet, be careful. Hopefully it's in like a paint pen, something like that, that's permanent. You don't have to worry about UV. But if you got like three different helmets, again, you can go back to one of my videos. You'll see, or pictures, you'll see the case in the corner. And I got it at IKEA for like $99, and it can hold 4 helmets in there. So it's really, really nice. But again, Michael sells those helmet cases. Go there Christmas time. They'll get a coupon, 50% off one item. You can definitely get it. Jason
Coupon.
Witten sign helmet. Funny story. Getting sidetracked, but it's fine. And I'm going to get to one other comment about Pollard that someone said. Jason Witten. So I was Cowboys. Anytime Cowboys were in town, my brother and I we'd go to the hotels, stalk the hotels, and we go get the Cowboys. So it was Jason Witten's rookie year. He was at an elevator. I was probably the only person to know who he was. Went to get asked him if he'd sign my helmet. He signed my helmet. He took a picture with me. And then later that night in the lobby, all by himself, was Tony Romo. No one knew who he was. I didn't even barely knew who he was, but I knew he was a Cowboy, and I got him to ask him to, if he'd sign my helmet. Then I got some other fillers on there, but after that, you can kind of clean up the fillers, if you know what I mean. And I had Tony Romo and Jason Witten on the same side of the helmet. Both of them were rookies. No one knew who the hell they were, and so that was my funny. And then the picture I took with them, it was before all the digital camera phones and all that. It got ruined. So I had this awesome picture with Jason Witten, and it got ruined. But my brother ended up meeting him because Cowboys were playing in Tampa, and he said, "Hey, let's go. We're going to Cowboys Hotel." I said, "Man, I'm getting too old for this. I'm not going to go. I just go to the game. You casino." And he ended up getting Sean Lee, hanging out with Jason Witten. Garrett was the coach then. I think he got some other Cowboys. So it was really cool. We've been very fortunate. My family, my brothers, we've always been into autographs. And I mean, Jimmy, you remember us, together. We'd always go to Super Bowl shows and Super Bowl parties and Super Bowls and all that. So that's where mostly all this stuff comes from. It's like 30 years of 30 years.
And the vast majority of my stuff, I mean, I got autographed stuff, wrestling, football, football, but a lot of my stuff was rolling down to Yankee spring training.
Yes.
And then the Yankees up here, I got so much anything you can think of Yankees from the 80s, 90s, I got it all. And it's pretty cool, especially when you get the autographs and then you got maybe somebody took a picture of you getting the autograph.
Yeah.
That's even better.
No, it's always it's just as a kid, I've tried to get my kids into it. Now that they never were into it as much as we were. But anyway, this was an interesting thing. So why did it take almost 4 years to use Pollard the way they did at Memphis? We haven't put together 2 games in a row with Moore. And you said the key word, more. Moore is the offensive coordinator. I've always said he drives me nuts because he just, I don't know. Some games like this, you're like, man, he's mixing it up. He's getting everything going. And then you'll have some games that are just absolutely drive you crazy. And the thing with Pollard is really, I think everyone says Pollard needs to get involved more and more and more. And when you say that, it's not a knock on Zeke. It's not saying it's got to be one or the other. And I've never understood why they try and make it to where you got to have, it's got to be Zeke or it's got to be Pollard. I think they both serve a purpose in this offense, and they both benefit this offense, and we need them both healthy in this offense. And when you're playing in the NFL and you've got 17 games and 21 games, to get to the Super Bowl, you need solid running backs. So I love what they've done. They've kind of shared the load even more, but what they've done is gotten Pollard out in space. He was a receiver in college so I mean, they're utilizing his skills. That one play that that 168-yard or whatever was touchdown, he didn't even get touched. He's so damn fast. And then that other one didn't get touched to throw on the outside. So I agree, Henry, man. It's like, what have they been doing?
I want to know, is that the Henry Hill?
I don't know. Maybe.
Henry Hill. But you know what? To his point, I get frustrated with well, now he's hurt, but Kyle Pitts, they're not targeting him, and you're wondering why. How good he is. Why isn't he getting targets? It's so inconsistent. So to your point, being a fan, it's frustrating. Pollard went nuts last week, and he played great yesterday.
And I don't know Kyle Pitts. That's an enigma to me because, I mean, he's one of them. He's as my man, Steve, who I'm talking about the in wrestling.
Mongo.
No, not Steve Mongo. Remember, I got the wrong guy. The genetic freak.
Oh, Scott Steiner.
All
my freaks
Steiner.
out there.
I mean, he's a genetic freak. I mean, the size, the speed, the length, all that stuff. His hand. I mean, it's just I'd be throwing the ball 20 times a game.
No,
I mean,
he's been averaging 6 targets a game.
Yeah,
and now he's out.
Yeah, no,
pisses me off.
Yeah, and shelf life on the running back. That's why, I did a thing on Emmitt Smith. I don't think Emmitt Smith's record's ever going to be broken because of that right there. I just don't think running backs can have the staying power that Emmitt Smith had back in the day. It's a different game. It's a different offense. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the way they practice and prepare. Of course, the guys are bigger, faster, stronger. So, those collisions get even worse and worse. But I just don't think their bodies are conditioned for that kind of punishment when they used to do 2-a-days in the practice and, the way they did back then. So I agree. And, Thunder and Lightning, I don't want to use the Giants, because then we're talking about the Giants. That's what they had with Jacobs and stuff. But I do. I think Zeke is a pound. He's going to pound the line of scrimmage. He's going to hurt him. He's going to get you 4-6, then he'll get 8-10. He'll get that. He's not the 2016 Zeke. He's a different running back now. But I think, again, had he been, had we had him maybe in Green Bay, maybe it would have been a different game because I think they trusted him maybe more than the other ones, down the stretch.
Well, it was silly because they played him through injury last year. It made his knee worse.
I
know.
Should
just play Pollard. So you're right. There's nothing wrong with having a two-headed running back situation.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's the way it's got to be. So please, no more of this, Zeke Pollard. Pollard should be started. So let Pollard take the first snap of the game and say he's a starter. Who gives a shit? I mean, really, I never understood that starter, not starter. They're both, sharing the workload and doing it together. So I just, I don't get it.
No, but that's the whole point. It doesn't need to be a battle. It's a team sport, right?
No.
I mean, they're going to get, equal amount of carries a game. So what if one has maybe 4 or 5 more than the other? Keeping them healthy. And if you're winning, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, you go with the hot hand. If Zeke is grinding it down, then roll with him. If Pollard's getting it going, you go with him. I mean, that's what you want. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a down to me being a counselor.
Hey, is that again? Are you the Henry Hill?
I think it might be. Now, we reach all around, so there very, very well could be. But I'd rather be a Cowboys fan than the president of the United States. There ain't no doubt about that. You couldn't give me that job.
Hell's no.
There is no way. And the funny thing, like back in the day, so the Zeke Pollard. So when I was a kid, obviously Tony Dorsett was, he was my favorite player, and he was the guy. And then they got Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
And then it was Herschel Walker. And you always, you thought about, man, God, that backfield would be unstoppable, but it just never could, and it never could click. And, and again, Dorsett was near the end of his career. Maybe, Zeke's kind of that back 9 of his career too, I'm sure. But yeah, I just wish. But anyway.
Like a Camo Piper. He doesn't want to be a Cowboys fan or the president.
No, what's a matter? Well, he's 49ers. He's 49. He's getting charged up. And I tell you, the 49ers, yeah, I give them respect, man. As much as I hate, the 49ers, I always respect them. It's great rivalry that, even though we're not in the division, but whenever you play those Cowboy 49ers games, man, that's why that playoff game, it broke my heart because that was the first time I've been to see the Cowboys and Niners play. So all in your mind is all those playoff games in years past. And yeah, it sucked. So anyway, Jimmy, we're getting close to wrapping up. Obviously, it was a great show. We love interacting. I was going to do the phones, but I'm in my real Cowboys cave because I'm very. If there's one thing, if people know me, I don't mess with mojo. I don't mess with this. So I did the show here Thursday. Everything was set up in here. I was watching the game. I'm drinking from the cup. I was not, I don't change this. So you got the 90 jersey on. So I can't mess with any of the mojo because I get, it freaks me out. Then I feel like I let the team down. So we couldn't do the calls, but yeah. And yeah, you did miss.
Yeah,
you
Will.
missed Cheech, man.
Will.
You game, but hey,
You
more importantly,
missed.
I can watch it again because that gives us more time. So right.
You miss exactly. You miss free investment advice. So I strongly suggest you go back to the 29-minute mark and watch.
Absolutely, yeah, and Niners and Cow always a battle, and that would be, again, like I said, I went to the game. If Dallas and Niners play in Dallas, I think that would be the game I'd always go to. Because I picked 3 or 4 games to go to. Always going to be the game I go to no matter what. Because
I liked when the 49ers battled the Falcons last month. I mean last month.
Oh, last
month.
Worked
out well for me.
Oh, yeah, worked out good for you.
Exactly. No, but back in the days when it was the old NFC West, they used to whip our ass every freaking
But it
year.
was just, there were some with Jerry Glanville. I mean, those were some.
Till Dion showed up with, Jerry Glanville, that era, then it, got a few wins.
Absolutely. All right, my man, Steven, you're going to be at the game. So all I'm saying is, the show, probably not going to do a show Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. I might do the preview game on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I'll probably do that. Give me something to do. But definitely have fun. I want you to have a better outcome. I never been to a Thanksgiving Day game till last season, and it was a disaster. So it is a cool thing to do if you haven't done it. If you're a Cowboys fan, you definitely want to be able to enjoy that. It's a cool experience. It's one of those, if you're a Cowboys fan, Thanksgiving's always a little extra special. So it's really cool if this is your first trip.
Yeah, you know what? I can't control the comments, but I see a hate comment heading toward my way over here.
We're getting through it. All right. Yeah, new son. Dallas was favored against Vikings. We talked about that with Uncle Cheech.
It breaks my heart. F you, Jimmy.
Jimmy, what's with the profanity?
I know. I can't believe this is a family show. This is PG rated. You got to watch your language.
Will's going to be at the game. Will's going to be at the things. I should have made a trip there. Maybe next year. But I picked Christmas Eve. I had to do that.
No, I'll say one thing, and we talked about it a few weeks ago after the Bears-Cowboys game. That is an experience, and I'm not chilling. I'm not chilling for the Cowboys. Obviously, I'm a Falcons fan, but the whole thing from the time you walk in to the, they got all the hoopla before the show, the cheerleaders and all this other stuff. Saw Emmitt Smith walk right by us. Was pretty cool. Yeah.
An arm distance away. I tried to get a little, fist bump, and my man Doug, who's at the game, he got the fist bump. He passed me by. Maybe Doug was in my way, cost me a chance to, get something from Emmitt Smith. But yeah, him being so close, it's really cool. So that's where I would say, Steve, if this is your first game, they usually have a Cowboys player come out in the Miller Lighthouse. And so if you're kind of where that 50-yard line is if you're in that area, either on the steps or around there, they typically go out. Like I was there, Undertaker, one of the Cowboy fans, but Undertaker was there one time, George Teague, Cliff Harris was there one time, Darren Woodson. They had for Thanksgiving, they had the guy singing. So I don't know, country guy. I don't know country that well, new country anyway. So I don't know who it was. I think they got the Jonas Brothers this time. So I don't know if I wouldn't wait for that. I'd probably just go get some beer and go somewhere else. But anyway, and they do the cheerleaders do a dance out there too. So the Miller Lighthouse, if you haven't been there, on that, definitely check it out.
And the best part is you're 20 yards away from just slamming Miller Lights all day or all pregame. That doesn't suck.
Yeah, I'll always be at the Philly. Philly's another one. Cowboys, Saints. We'll see how the Saints are. Luke Combs, that's who it was. See, I got to learn. I got to learn all this stuff. But anyway, Jimmy, it's a great show. It's a Victory Monday. Now, we didn't get this. You put some on the wall. Did you have something prepared?
You know what the funny part is? I got to put 2 things on the wall because
you got 5 wins. I only see 3.
You know what? Well, there was a show that you were at it. You had some business to tend to, and then yesterday. So that's on me. So next week, hopefully, I'm putting 3 things up. That wouldn't suck.
Well, you clean that up a little bit. I want to see some stuff up there.
I know. I'm going to keep moving stuff in from the other room.
That's what you do. We're going to create a little room for you there. So that'll be your makeshift man cave, like what I had to do. So
makeshift.
Anyway, no, I appreciate it. Thanks, Doug. Always good. We'll be seeing you out at AT&T. Will, my boy, we definitely hit a game last year. We got to hit another game. So I don't have much else to say, man. I'm feeling good about the Cowboys. I told you, I've got the Kool-Aid in here. Grape Kool-Aid, of course. got to be grape if you got Kool-Aid. So I'm enjoying it. Make sure if you're at AT&T, you can get this fancy cup. You know, it's got Tank, it's got Parsons, it's got Diggs, and they give you a little hat for it.
Why don't you get one of the little ice cream hats that you eat out?
They don't do that ice cream cup. If they did, I would do that like baseball. But anyway,
it's fun.
Jimmy, Thanksgiving, you doing anything special before we head out, or are you ready to roll?
Well, we're going to be in Bill's country and where my wife's family is for Thanksgiving. So, yeah. Well, now, actually, it's funny because Rochester didn't get much snow, but I mean, obviously Buffalo got pounded. And why they didn't move, and I know we're chiming out or signing off here in a minute. Why they didn't move that game to Toronto is beyond me. They go to Detroit. I don't get it. Makes no sense when 25% of their ticket holders are from Canada.
Well, I think they're worried about the game because they play in Detroit this week. So maybe that was logistically they were worried about that and they figured they'd just stay out there. So
whatever.
Well, you have a good Thanksgiving.
You too.
I'm going to leave you guys with a little video. I did a full video this time, Jimmy. It was retweeted by Tank. Tank's my guy. He always shows love to Cowboys Nation. So this was my post game, and you got to remember, this is like the beginning of the fourth quarter. This game's over. I'm already enjoying myself. The backups are in. They're pulling their starter out because the guy's taking a beating. I was really worried about him. So I just leave you with this. But Jimmy, again, awesome show. Appreciate it. Always good times when we go on it. It's even better when both teams win, right?
Yes, it was a good time. Great show. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes.
Hoping everybody has a great week, and we'll see you. I'll see you in a week.
See you in a week. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share. You see the Twitter. Make sure if you ain't following us, man, you're missing out. Of course, Uncle Cheech is due. Make sure you do it. But I'll leave you guys with this. And, I'll have something special on Thanksgiving morning, an extra special hype video. I'll see you guys. Peace out.
I know all the haters out there are having a very bad Sunday after witnessing this beating that we are giving this 8-1 Minnesota team. I told you it was going to happen. Bottom line, we all face adversity, and it's how you respond that matters. And this team just showed you how they respond. So I'm going to keep drinking that Kool-Aid all season long because we ain't done yet. So Cowboys Nation, you get ready. Thanksgiving Day, we're back at AT&T. We're taking on those